to uh, get all the stakeholders on the same page and at the same time set a realistic picture in front of them. So I have two questions here. So one is that how do you manage the stakeholders in your probably your individual key strategy to get all the stakeholders on the same page so that the idea is same and the direction is the same and all of the stakeholders, be it from the designers, uh, marketing, everyone working on the same page. And then the question is that how do you set the realistic picture in front of them, the realistic timeline? Suppose you are launching a feature, how do you set the realistic timeline to launch that feature?
So, um, typically, key stakeholders. One is obviously engineering. So my go-to model for engineering, I am an engineer myself, right? So it is relatively easy for me to connect with engineers, and my go-to bonding is let's get the engineers, let's go out for some dinner, drinks, etc. Bond over shared trauma, etc. When it comes to talking of other stakeholders, for example, compliance. Compliance is a very stakeholder, um, given the regulatory aspect of our or nature of our business. Right? So usually compliance operations, what they struggle with is their first question is what the hell are you guys talking about, right? And second is a sense of insecurity that if you are writing a code, so there the strategy is this is what I want to do. To give them all the respect, make them feel like, and they are like, without the compliance person or a legal person really explaining to me what RBI notice is talking about, I am heading up. So my first go-to strategy is to make them feel like they matter, which they actually do. Take time to break down this technology black hole that they are trying to figure out that what is happening. Why we are always talking about tech, and where are these there. So as much spend as much time as you can. Repeat the same thing, even if that frustrates me, but politely repeat the same thing but several times over. Until they start to get the hang of it, that okay, this is what this guy is talking about. Right? So that is my second key stakeholder. Marketing is usually a friendly stakeholder, like they want to do cool jazzy stuff, so I let them do that. And yeah, marketing and design, they want to express, they're very expressive people, they have their way of expressing. So giving them the not allowing, giving them the space to do that, right? While keeping the business metrics on track. So that I think is the answer to the first part of your question. Like whether it's design or content or engineering, um, and if nothing else matters, then like if nothing else is working, then I just set up a call with some business head or friend who's very angry, and this needs to be done, and then let all of them fight it out. And I just facilitate the war. So,
So, on that lines, I have one question, right? So, generally, I also ask this to people who apply for the PM role in our org, and I have seen this question being asked at multiple places. That if you are a new PM in a well-set org and having already a product which is out there, and if you find a gap or if you want to make some changes, how would you do stakeholder management? Because there are guys who are probably the product head or if it's a startup then a founder who that product was his dream, and now you are introducing something as a new PM, a change which he has not either thought of or is not comfortable with, but you think that this is the right thing to do or right change. Right? So people struggle to find an answer to this, or they just keep mum and do what is being told as a PM and follow the classic structure. So what would you say that what these people or this new PM can do different to reach out to someone who is much higher in position or has more authority and convince them or showcase why they are right or how they are right.
There it depends. And I think that has evolved in me also as I have grown older. So I think 10 years back my thinking was that मैं तो लड़ रहा हूँ. Now I think it has become more about that. Okay, this person has a way of communicating, way of thinking, and without putting their 5, 10 years, whatever, a lot of effort and sweat into bringing something out. So people who genuinely want to listen, like if they're true to the purpose, like this is what we are building and this is the ultimate purpose of what we are building. If you are sticking to that, I think people listen. Obviously, again, it's a lot of discussion. Like the same thing that I do with operations and compliance. Like patiently, even if I'm internally frustrated, but at the on the face of it, being polite and repeating the same thing over and over till the point the other person gets the what I give up.
So more with patience and like what I generally.
Patient also sort of politely you keep doing like
But I
there's
think
one mosquito buzzing
also
around.
clarity, that if you are just sending out the message that, with
Yeah.
proper clarity that
Correct. So yeah, that was what I was going to ask you, because what I generally value people coming up the food chain and saying they have done the research.
Yeah.
If they have all the data, the surveys and the
That's
clients.
right.
Many a times this is what's missing. They just think like we have as from the earlier discussion. If they got an idea and think it's fancy and people will love it, then they bring it up and say this is the change we need to do. Right?
Whereas you have that substance
Correct.
beneath what they're saying. You have to back it up with substance, data, whatever.
data and everything.
It can't be a one like that.
Today I think about launching this feature and let's
Yeah.
just launch. so, but have you experienced any kind of like clash internally, major clash between tech and design people? That like both of them are, that both the teams are going in opposite directions.
Happens sometimes, but I just started thinking. If I think your job as a PM is also about a lot of orchestration, like getting people on track, and it is natural to steer away and but here's the vision part that we need to achieve what we need to achieve, not what the individual needs to achieve. I don't see any like clashes anymore. I think everybody has the right to have a different way of functioning towards getting the best from everyone to conclude the project.
Something we recently experimented is like kick-off meetings. Whenever we are working on some bigger projects, like maybe loyalty program, omni-channel experience, we basically call it as a kick-off meeting. Kick-off meeting is driving the entire discussion. Before that, we have worked on a particular project for 2-3 months. We have ensured like we spoke to designers, engineers, done the enough market research, review the business guys, and he created his own understanding document where he's explaining to entire teams, like all 7-8 people from the different departments, and they are aware that this is the project that we are going to work upon. These are the different functions that need to be connected with this, like my offline store, the billing system need to be connected with this, my Shopify need to connect it with this. These are the different admin tools we are going to introduce into the process. Like your team need to drive this. So if a clarity, I think which comes from this kickoff meeting, and everybody is on the same page. And this kind of discussion we are saying, like we usually organize for 30 minutes to 1 hour, and it goes for 2 or 3 hours because people, nobody wants the extra work. So when we say this is a new dashboard that your team needs to manage, they ask simple one question: why don't you automate this in some way? And we can't automate everything from the day one. I mean, there has to be some raw format, and eventually, if that product succeeds, we'll invest more resources and we'll automate those processes. But initially, just to understand, like we need to have some kind of bandwidth allocation, drive the project successful without unless every department is contributing or putting 100% into it. whenever we are working on bigger projects, we started following this. I think this is working fairly well now.
Any questions?
You had earlier talked that you basically you believe in no coding for study wireframe and everything. So my basic question would be that what are the certain tips to validate your early customer by wireframe? By just normal say, this is what I want to build. That's it.
No, I don't really have a lot of pointers. It's just that there is a flow that you have thought of. Right? The journey starts here, the journey ends here. Right? You take it to your stakeholders, customers, business guys, etc. See how they are not explain a lot. Give them a brief context, set the context, give and give it like hand it over to them to play around, fiddle around and observe that how they are are they experiencing friction? Are they struggling somewhere? Right? Or are they genuinely appreciating something? What is the thought that you are that thing is evoking without you jumping in and
So I should not be the main driver. They should like
Yeah.
look at that what they are feeling on, how
Yeah.
the experience is.
Next about like wireframe and you want to offer to your customer. I think so it depends on like what kind of business you want to do. Whether it's something which can be experimented directly with from existing medium. Like the WhatsApp something we have discussed, Instagram something we have discussed. Like if it is possible to achieve these sources, I think it's like no brainer. You go and do that. If you are using some kind of one like Instagram or Snapchat, right? It's something new concept and until you're not having something very much visual, you cannot experiment. So you need to build a new blueprint, at least mock-up and
In the current scheme of things we are in place now, if somebody wants to get into a PM role from a different domain, what I'd heard, I don't know if it's correct, but there was a little, I mean, people from the engineering background were considered to be better off, in PM roles and grow from there. I'm just curious if somebody has to start off as a PM now. Would his engineering background or lack of it kind of, or lack of coding knowledge or this thing would affect his growth in this thing, or it's pretty much a general administration role which you can handle?
I mean, even if I most of the time I work on the tech product, so I usually prefer a PM who's coming from the tech background or understand tech, like how the SDK work, how the API work. They should understand this so that they can deal with the developers. Like a PM who's coming from it's a business background, might have been MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, but doesn't understand like how the code works, right? How internet works, or what to do when traffic suddenly goes from 5,000 concurrent user to 15,000 concurrent user. Then it becomes challenging, right? Because every PM is accountable for certain type of feature within your organization. So if he's not able to understand who will drive that particular instance or particular feature for that critical moment. So I think in those cases, having an engineering degree actually helps. I mean, though people say it's like you can learn everything about the software engineering in 2 months, but imagine like you are learning the same software engineering for 4 years in different ways. You will have a better understanding than a guy who is on through YouTube or somewhere else. Because you also work on the project, and you might copy those projects from somewhere else, but you understand like how to connect those dots. That's why you are able to pass that degree. So I think that actually helps up to certain extent. But then there are some pretty smart people who are from commerce background. They learn everything about the coding, and then they excel in their field. So I wasn't Prime ka product head is a commerce graduate, but earlier he was a product head of Shali.com, all tech products. He learned coding despite of having a commerce background, so that he can deal with the programming. they are the people who are on the board. Like, you want base. If I want to hire someone, engineer having the fair knowledge of programming anytime they can. For the tech businesses, healthcare product manager might be altogether different. And healthcare businesses do not hire the engineering background or IT product managers, right? So that's also a challenge.
I think it is also very industry specific. Like if they are like someone is building any product in, as you say, the health tech domain or wellness domain, that is different. But some knowledge of tech always helps, because if you are starting and even if you are starting a startup, if you are building an app, you should have that basic knowledge that how an app is built and like how you can grow the app, scale the app. This much is required.
Eventually, I believe like
Even for tech-enabled businesses also, you should have a sound knowledge of tech.
yeah. So if you see like globally, what are the top 5 companies or top 7 companies? All are tech businesses, including Microsoft, Facebook, uh, but in top 7 or top 5, right? There is no Boeing or Ford Motor Company, right? Or maybe a phone manufacturer company, right? So they are not there until you are not very much cutting edge into the tech. Like globally, large scale business will become challenging. It doesn't mean like the offline business will not be there. It will be there, but they may not be as valuable as the tech business which are there today.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that when you are starting off in your productivity, having the base level knowledge of how different systems are talking to each other, whether it is through your engineering degree or through street smartness like you wanted, I think that is important. But as you go higher into like more senior roles, that also needs to provide this domain understanding. Yeah, I mean, it is also there are people who are also able to navigate between domain, several verticals or several domains. But having as you go higher in seniority, adding that layer of domain understanding also adds to your how you are perceived.
Yeah. Are you guys seeing any applications of AI in your companies, businesses? Any use cases that you guys are evaluating or competitors evaluating?
Currently, all our product recommendations, your search results are all are AI driven. I remember like when I was with the first in 2012, I also built a recommendation engine, but it was complete manual. I downloaded data from the SQL and then created on the Excel sheet. Like if customer buys diaper, then he more likely to buy baby wipes and powder. This was like manually done back then. But now here it's just like a plugin that we have integrated from some other vendor, and the search is ready within a day, or product recommendations are ready within a day. So I think these are the places like where we are using AI. Generative AI we experimented a lot last year. Was not justifiable, so we discontinued Gen AI experiment. But I think there are a few other places which are doing very well from Gen AI. It's a business out of the Gen AI. So it will be used. I think only finding the product market fit and I think the business and AI fitment something is required, and it may vary business to business. The chatbot and all, I think all chatbots have been updated to the AI contextual. Right.
Yeah, yes, same. I mean, I think more clarity will evolve this over another year or 2 years in terms of specified services. Customer servicing, obviously, there is a huge recommendation there is, but also in if like something that I have in mind is like a lot of vertical use cases will come up. For example, I feel like AI driven influencers, AI driven like for example in banking. Today I need to hire an RM to go and pitch a product. Right? But if I'm able to create AI driven RMs, etc. So that I think those use cases will eventually become clearer as the tech evolves.
think everybody wants to use these AI-driven influencers, RMs. Problem is that it is not affordable for the businesses, at least in India. So in the GNA experiment we are talking about in the computer agency, so charging us 20 rupees per video. Right? Now imagine if I am running this campaign for the 1 lakh users, and obviously my boss will ask me like we should have at least 5-6 year of ROI on this campaign. That it doesn't happen. Right? So some and those companies also cannot do. I mean, they also have to
Yeah,
run
that's
servers, machines.
common feedback and ROI is not understanding.
Once it becomes more affordable, I think the companies will adopt it widely. When, unless like NFT where everybody was banking on NFT, will create an NFT and this will happen, that will happen. I think AI is much more concrete technology. I think more use case should be involved.
Adding on to this, there are more open source LLM models like present. People do research properly. There are very best use cases which Gen AI or Claude Anthropic doesn't able to give when we use Grok. The vision model of Grok, it's open source. There will be some tokens and like 1 million tokens you have to pay $1 or something. But comparing to the Gen AI models, they are working very like they are very fine tuned. We can tune it according to our use case. We just need to do more research or like get the team involved more on this topic, so it can save a lot amount of money.
AI resources are also costly. Having an AI engineer costs a lot than having a regular engineer.
And when you are in three-tier college, you can hire interns.
But then it's also not about college, it's about like quality of the resources, right?
Also, eventually, like anyone who's a product manager who is taking an initiative to do something new, right? Eventually, that project will end at some point of time. When that project ends, you need to demonstrate like what was the ROI, what are the investment you have made. Companies are willing to invest 10 crores rupees a day. There is no problem of money. Right? Problem is like if you are investing 10 crores rupees, I need at least 40-50 crores of ROI. So that, I mean, at least in D2C or VC funded business I'm talking about in today's time. There was a time like when people were throwing money on like crazy, and even there was no ROI, investors were okay. But today it's not happening. So it is not like companies don't want to do something new. I mean, even when we do performance marketing, we tell our agency like we are okay to invest 5 CR, 10 CR a day. But our ROAS on those ad spend should be like 6, 7 and above. So I think that's where everything comes down to when I was working on the new feature or new experiment. I think, and contrarily, I have seen in US, VCs are open to do experiment even they are losing the money. So sorry. So VCs are okay to lose money even if an entrepreneur is just investing or experimenting with an idea. I met a guy who just like a feedback form. We create a feedback form. We write 20 different questions and then based on answer A, then show the question 2. If answer B, then show the question 3. Right? That guy has created this using the AI. What are the response the customers make? Based on that, AI creates the next question on its own by its own understanding. Right? And he was yet to write or yet to launch the product in the market and he still received $2-3 million of money. So, and that kind of case is not possible in India. So, yeah.
Okay, so last question for today's event. So yeah, so as probably like you are managing some aspiring or junior level product managers, right? And you must have seen a trend of major mistakes or challenges that we face. So what will be your advice to the budding product managers or the new product managers that your advice that you should not make that mistakes, so these are the challenges that should be on advice that you'd like to give to our audience today who are aspiring to become product managers next?
Sure.
One advice that I usually have for people who freshly join our teams is they avoid jumping to the solution, which is because I mean when you are young, the enthusiasm is high. And so avoiding like building the discipline to not jump to the solution, not like block the solutions are down. Spend as much time as you can thinking about the problem, breaking the problem into sub-problem or sub-sub-problem. I think the more time you invest in you in that exercise, the better your outcome, the better your solution will be in terms of the clarity, in terms of the crispness of it. So that is one advice that I usually share. The second thing that I share is we don't really have a real job. I mean, we're not doing anything. The engineer, the designer is making the design, the engineer is creating the, writing the code, the marketeer is marketing, like doing the go-to-market of that. The business guy is building the PNL. Right? So therefore, it is very important for us to provide the clarity, the why, um, and be the ringleader in some sense to keep everyone true to the purpose of what we are trying to achieve. And that I think that becomes your major role, which you need to keep exercising. So, and also taking insights from everyone, speaking the language of everyone a little bit, and then translating that for like creating a standard. It's a lot like like a data science exercise, right? You source the data, you format it, create the conditioning, and then you create the visualization layer on top of it, right? So that is also a key role that I think PMs should start playing very quickly into their career. That you're speaking the engineer, able to elicit, identify what is their frustration, where they are getting stuck, what they would like to do, etc. And crystallizing it for everyone, so that again everyone comes back on track. Case to that's one. And the final one I say so. This is something I learned in school. There used to be this exercise called Prezi writing. Prezi writing is basically there is an essay which is, let's say, which has 100 words. You have to shorten it into 60 words. So that is something I keep telling people, that you should do the Prezi writing exercises, so that when you are speaking or communication in scripts, it gets to the point very quickly, and delivers the message without people who really need to hear what you have to say. They don't really have a lot of time, especially in business and etc. They have 100 things to worry about. So the people you are able to deliver with the higher impact, the better.
I think the candidate who is joining the organization, we first tell them like you should go and talk to the different people with whom you are supposed to work very aggressively. Whether it's a designer, tech guy, branding team, maybe also a warehouse and so on. And try to just gel up with them, try to understand what they do, try to understand day-to-day activities, right? And then eventually just start looking at our dashboard, our analytics, how products work. So invest time in understanding the product itself. How many products we have active on our platform, what are the different features we have, how these features are currently performing, fit our fan base, they will engage. And so that you will have an understanding of what exactly business is all about. And before reaching out to taking a new project, understand like whether how the earlier you have worked upon those particular products, those particular features, and we have worked upon that. And how the overall thought process was around this particular feature. So when you start implementing those and from the product management is much more about like you have your basics clear. Beyond that, you need to work with the people. You work with different people, so you with different sort of mindset. People are easy to work with. People are very difficult to work with or challenging to work with. It doesn't mean like they are only challenging to or difficult to handle. I mean, from your end, like, they are difficult for everyone in the organization. So, but you need to work with them and you need to get your work done and you need to take your release your features, release your products. So try to understand those things think it will be more than sufficient to nobody wake up and say like, yeah, I will be most difficult person in the office today.
Yeah, my advice to there is one bigger customer out there which lot of PM or all over here are not focusing on. That is B2G. That is government. It is one of the most promising businesses. I work with government, so I know. You also get grants from government to do a pilot project, and they have a much more focused kind of an output requirement. They will give you everything what they want. You just have to develop that and give it to them. They also will take you to a global ground. Give an example of a product which was known as Akash. So Akash was designed and developed by DRDO. It's a rocket launcher. It was designed and it was tested during the Kargil war. So Kargil was like a test bed. It was never tested before. But today Akash and Pinaka, they are two rocket launchers. They are jointly developed by DRDO and L&T and Tata. Today they are selling it to overseas market. Okay. There is one more company, Idea Forge. It is an IIT Mumbai startup which is in drones. It started as the drone which is shown in that 3 Idiots. It is the same drone. It was the first pilot. So that company has working with DRDO now, and they developed a product named as Netra, which is for surveillance and recon projects. And they are also getting overseas orders now because of the government contract. So this one business of B2G, people have to keep an eye on because they are a huge requirement by government. And there are very few players out there who are going out there. And they need very good tech oriented companies to come forward. And they are giving grants, they are giving lot of things. They may also give you some low interest or almost 0% interest amount also to run the business. So this is something which everyone should look into.
Actually,
B2G.
the issue is that the quality expectation is extremely high when it comes
It
to
is high,
different
it is high.
and people don't have that kind of infrastructure support. They don't have a legacy of doing that. I've been failing for more than a year to deliver to Indian Army. And when I go there, every time somebody new has come up, they come with all their robots, mine sweeping robots, mine laying robots. But on field, they fail. That's the requirement is actually they have good money. Indian Army has great money, but they need everything cutting edge. They don't care about money. People are not able to deliver. That is the thing. Because having a manufacturing background in India is slightly difficult. So that is the thing. Government has a role.
I understand, but catering to that,
Yes,
because the scope is very clear. When they say that I need a scooter, they will say that it has to run at this terrain, this inclination angle. They will give you a clear scope of idea that मुझे ये product चाहिए. Only thing is you have to deliver that product as per the expectation. That you have to be well prepared, sir. Otherwise, then you should not go into B2G. Then it's B2B is okay.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, so now it is open for audience discussion, audience question. If you have any questions, you may ask. You can take, yeah.
So, when you talked about local intelligence, you meant the understanding of the code, the user code, right? Sorry, way back in the second, you discussed about expanding business into multiple geographies.
Yeah.
So, you talked about local intelligence. Does it mean to understanding the user code? Because depending on geography, the users would
So, user, I'll give you an example of Zomato. Zomato launched in South Africa. So what happened, like people used to order for breakfast, they used to see average traffic. They used to see very high traffic during the lunch hour. Okay. And there was like almost negligible traffic during the dinner time. But why this is happening? Right? Even during the dinner time, people eat food. People need food, right? But nobody is ordering. Correct. Now, after some research, they identified like internet is very costly in South Africa. So whenever they are in office, they can order for the breakfast. Whenever they are during the lunch hour, they are still in office, they can order from their desktop, office internet. But once they reach home, nobody is buying the private internet plans and ordering food through their cell phone. Right? So this is something like internet you will get because you are in that ecosystem and then you will understand. Probably it doesn't mean like Zomato might not have done the enough research. But they wanted to might be certain capacity, they might have missed the how ecosystem works there, how internet ecosystem works there. They might have missed that. So that kind of intelligence you need over the period of time. I mean, even at Sure, I mean, we are launching 40, 45 shades per product. It doesn't mean like every city in North India will buy all 45 shades. Okay, you just 20, 25 shades which are selling in the Himachal, Delhi, till Madhya Pradesh. Once you move beyond the Maharashtra and downstairs, the type of shades which get sold are altogether different from what we sell in northern part of India. Same, east west may be same all the time. So this kind of intelligence you develop over the period of time. I mean, either you will get this intelligence from someone who is consultant who's already worked on this kind of project, work on your own and then you get the intelligence. Maybe in future to look at regulation. Regulation is one of the biggest challenge. I mean, if you are entering into fintech kind of business.
Any questions? Any other questions?
I have a question. My question is, when you go from 0 to 1, I mean, when you're already in the business, you have a lot of data with your customers through which you get insights, like you said. But when you're going 0 to 1, you don't have enough data, enough research to know that whether your product is going to work or not. What is a feasible way to do a market research? Second, if there are any tools that someone can use to do market research and ask the right questions to the audience so that they can get better insights before going into the
Whenever we did any kind of innovation, we realize like the innovation is always present in a scattered form in some capacity. You just need to ability to connect those dots and try to understand like whether this will work or not. Also, when you are in 0 to 1 stage, you need very high execution capacity. So you might not have system where execution. The founders don't really work like well because they actually don't have a very great system in place. We just discuss the example of Mac and React Native. They have to work. It's all about the execution at early stage of the business. And obviously, one thing like once you start getting the customer, try to speak at least in B2C. I'm telling you, try to speak at least 10 customers every day. You get a lot of understanding like how your products they are perceiving, how they consume their products, what are the challenges they are facing, why they are happy, those who are frequent buyer, why they are happy with your product. I think those use cases will help you a lot to iterate your product at the next stage. I mean, what features it to be second, आगे क्या होगा, सब वहीं से input आता है.
Yeah, I agree. And I think also the category matters. So e-commerce, I think doing dummy ads is a good way to get feedback. If you're doing something on the lines of hyperlocal delivery, Instamart, Zepto, etc., WhatsApp is a great channel to get started. Banking, I figured banking fintech, wireframe, taking the wireframe to the customers or the sales guys, and seeing how they interact with those wireframes is a good way. Then obviously, like if you have a lot of, not a lot, but if you have decent corpus in the bank, you can probably reach out to market research firms. But this maybe like you have to figure out the right people because most people are just hogwashing. Right? And in general, speaking with customers or potential customers. So, for example, if I'm launching a P2P software for product managers, probably every Saturday, Sunday, whenever a meetup happens, speaking with the product guys, understanding because they will be my potential customers. So, wherever my customers are, if I'm doing something
Any last question? We can take one. Last question. Yes. Yeah, आप पूछ दो दोनों का question. You ask both the questions.
I just wanted to know कि if I'm starting to build an app, a new one, so I do a lot of competitor analysis. While developing the app, the competitors are also developing new features for that. So how should I stay updated on those features? Is there any website or do you guys keep a track of all the new features that they are launching, or is there?
No, I don't think competitor apps is the first thing you should go to when you're building a new one. I think going to the temple if you're building an astrology, speaking to the customer, like your and understanding, drilling down on your customer's needs, and identifying the cohort which you would like to serve first is what should be ranked one in your priority list. For example, um, if you're building a mutual fund business, right? What kind of mutual funds and to who? Like, do I go to senior citizens, sell them NPS and other, or maybe debt mutual funds, or do I go to NRIs and sell them equity mutual funds, etc. So speaking with the customers is, I think, rank one, and which cohort of customers you want to serve, understanding, drilling down into their needs. Then you figure out what is missing in the market. If the customer says I want ABC, then you go, the competition comes into play that okay, why is this a gap? Like, who is solving it, who is not solving it? If an IMD money is not solving something, or if a Zomato is not solving something, then why are they not solving it? Like, there has to be some reason, trying to understand. So the point that I'm trying to make is the intention should not be that if XYZ company is doing it, let me just replicate it as is. The point, the underlying intention should be that if it is true to my customer's needs, right? If my customer actually wants something, now let me go and see who is solving it the right way, how are they doing it. So that intention matters. And in terms of keeping track of what your competition is doing, I think it's just like I have 100 fintech apps in my. I actually have almost close to 100 fintech apps in my phone. So you have to be if you want to really be up to date, you have to put in that time and effort. So I have two phones. One is Android, one is iOS, because I want to know what is happening, what are the new apps getting deployed, like mass market apps moving from Android, little higher segment apps come first on iOS. So I use both to and like close to 100 apps to understand. A lot of people launch something on Android first, or some people do it because they launch on iOS first. Understanding the intent behind why they're doing that. Right? So that also matters a lot. It is a lot of manual labor trying to keep track, because it's not just about the line item, but okay, EDC app has done 1, 2, 3 items. It's about understanding the context, why they are doing it, why Zomato is doing something, why Swiggy is not. So Zomato was doing table booking, Swiggy was not. Swiggy was getting now recently only acquired Dino, started something. Right? So you have to understand the context, because the customer may be same. I am on Zomato, I am on Swiggy, but my behavior on Swiggy is different compared to my behavior on Zomato. So yeah, that understanding of the context you get through manual labor.
Great. Any last questions you want to ask?
Yeah, it's a very open question, but as you talked about, talking to users, when you're starting something new, it's very easy if you have just defined set of customers, you can go ahead and talk. But in case of like big businesses, such as quote again Nykaa or Sugar Cosmetics, so do these large businesses still are actually conducting like user interviews face to face, or they are just relying much more on the surveys or what the customers are actually doing, like to the metrics and analytics, or they are actually going on one-to-one users as well sometimes? So that's my question. And if you have to share any experience with that.
So we have a mandatory we meet on more basis. Like a cohort of a customer who is frequently purchasing from our platform, a cohort of a customer who is not buying anything since last 6 months, a cohort of a customer who purchased only one product in one order, and different product managers are assigned a different cohort, and they talk to these customers and they try to understand like what are action they have done, why they have done that action only, why they are not buying more products, or why they are purchasing so quickly. That is something we try to understand, and so mandatory for all the people in product department.
I think a lot of legacy businesses maybe do not have this distribution. Like startups have it institutionalized. Like you get onboarded as a new hire, you have to speak with customers, you have to sit at customer care, interact with customers. So a lot of these policies are institutionalized. Legacy companies may not be, for example, Kotak is not a mandatory thing that is actively being given, which is wrong, but it's just not there, right? But people who really want to work, so for example, I have seen all the business heads. I rarely find them at their desk. They're always out in the market, either visiting a branch or visiting a customer. They prefer to set up their lunch with customers. Whatever they're spending that time with customers. And that's true for Kotak, IDFC, HDFC, at least. That's what I've observed. Also, people in the lower layers, not maybe not CXOs and businesses, but lower layers also, they're very fairly, like you, they put in that effort to go out and reach out to customers, speak with them, look at social media, what are people complaining about, follow the tweets, complaints, all of that.
Great. So the session ends here today. I believe the purpose is fulfilled with which you have all come here. One purpose is fulfilled, that knowledge. You all here come for learning. And the next is networking, right? So now we can all network. You can network with like-minded people or you want to. And yeah, you can follow Product and Mumbai LinkedIn page and Ichai LinkedIn page to keep the upcoming updates for upcoming events. And yeah, so I believe you all have a great session today. And before we start networking with each other, I would request all of you to come here to have a picture, group picture together. And so we also have a small arrangement of snacks.